So it's Saturday and I've got time. So let's make some coconut cream fried pies. Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. Okay, we're going to start out making our coconut cream filling for our fried pies. So we're going to start out with about 3/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of flour. You can use cornstarch if you want to, or arrowroot. And then we're going to put our milk in. And I'm just going to stir that up. Now, we're wanting a really thick consistency for a fried pie, so I'm also going to go ahead and put in a couple of egg yolks. And what your egg yolks does to pie filling or pastry cream, it just makes it richer. And we're just going to go ahead and put it in there. We're not even going to wait to temper it or anything like that. Just like that. And I'm just going to stir that up good. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to let this come up to a boil, and I'm going to let it just slowly boil till it thickens up. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes, and you can see how our filling has really thickened up. So now what I'm going to do is I turn my heat off, and I'm going to put a good tablespoon of butter. Let that melt. That'll make it even richer, buttery taste and filling. And I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of coconut extract and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then I've got a 1/2 cup of shredded coconut. You can use unsweetened or you can use sweetened. And when you're making this filling, if you need to cut back on your sugar a little bit, you can use a sugar substitute. Now what I'm going to do, that this is ready, and I need to really cool it down and let it thicken up a little more before we make our fried pies. So we're going to move the filling over to a bowl to put in the refrigerator for a little bit. Okay, now we're just going to take our beautiful coconut cream and put it in the Pyrex bowl, let it cool down, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and really let it set up. And it will set up more as it cools down. It's a really, really good cream, coconut cream. So we're doing 2 of our favorites, coconut cream and fried pie. Put it together, and how can you get any better? So I'm going to put me a little bit of plastic wrap on top of this and put it down on top, and then put it well, I'm going to let it cool down just a little bit first. And then I'll put it in the fridge. And what that plastic wrap will do is keep it from forming a skin on top. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our crust for our fried pies. Okay, we are going to make our crust for our fried pies. And this is one of my favorite pastry crusts. This comes out of a cookbook that was put out by the school that me and Mr. Brown went to for years when we went to school. And the lady is Patricia Goodsell. It's her pastry for fried pies. She cooked in the kitchen there at Oak Ridge Central for years. And then she started subbing after that for teachers and helping children, and to this day she's still doing it, and we really love her. She's a hard-working lady, and this just become, you know, I've been making fried pies forever, but this has become my favorite one. It's just really good, and I love the way that it fries up and does a really good job. What we got here is we've got 2 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Then we got a tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to take that, just kind of mix it up a little bit. Then we're going to put in a teaspoon of baking powder. Put just a little bit more. It's not quite a teaspoon. We're going to mix that up. It's always good to go ahead and stir all your dry ingredients up good and get them good and incorporated with that flour. Then we've got a 1/2 cup of either shortening or lard, and I'm using lard today because I've got quite a bit of it. And we get our lard from when we have a hog processed, or if somebody else has a hog processed and they don't want their lard to render, we always ask for it, and they usually give it to us. So that's a good way to get you a bunch of lard. And you can can lard. I don't can my lard. I put it in jars, and then I put it in the bottom of my refrigerator, and that's where my lard stays as I use it. A lot of people say it's not safe to can lard. Like I said, I've never done it. I know a lot of y'all have. So we're just going to work that lard or shortening into your flour. And you can see this is going to make quite a few fried pies. Making fried pies is not something that you just jump into. You've got to have a little bit of time. And it's not that it's hard or complicated. It's just, you know, all the mixing your filling, and of course, a lot of times I've already got my filling made up because I'll use my homemade apple pie filling or cherry pie filling or blackberry pie filling. Most of the time I make chocolate fried pies though, because that's everybody's favorite. You can see, peekaboo. My little granddaughter just ran in here and said, peekaboo. And you can see how I've worked all that lard into that flour. Just kind of like till it gets into pea-sized pieces is what they say. I can usually just look at it and tell. And then all we got left is a cup of milk. And I usually just use canned milk, evaporated milk. That's what I've always used in my pie crust. But you can use just regular milk, you know, just whatever you have. I'm going to mix this up. I don't always pour in the whole cup because some days you may not need the whole cup. And some days you might. Okay. I'm going to try to gather this up just a little bit and see if I need a little bit more milk in it. Some people want to know if they can bake, you know, your fried pies, and yes, you can. And they are good. We just prefer ours to be the old-fashioned way, fried up. And I've had to take a bunch of fried pies somewhere before, and I have, because I didn't have time. I went ahead and baked them. Like I said, they are good. So I'll put a little bit more milk. And this crust is just like any pie crust. You don't want to overwork it. You just want it to come together. So I'm not going to put any more milk in this. I'm just going to let it be. Gather it up. I'm going to wash my hands. And I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for just a little bit, because you'll get a crispier, better fried crust if you have put it in the fridge for just a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to we're just going to wrap our crust up and put it in the refrigerator for a little bit. And if you don't want to use all this, you can even half it and then wrap it good and put the other in the freezer. Now, if you don't even want to make your own crust, you can use store-bought pie crust too, and you can make fried pies out of that. But you're just not going to get any better than homemade crust for your fried pies. But either way is good. So let's get this in the fridge, and everything's cooling and getting ready, and we'll get ready to make some fried pies. So we're just going to roll our dough out here very easily. And this dough is very forgiving. It's very easy to work with. And you just want to roll it out big enough to... now, y'all that have seen me make fried pies before know that anymore I have found that using a... well, it's more of an empanada mold. A fried pie mold that molds your pies, and it makes this process go so much easier when you're making a bunch of pies. And here it is right here. And you just lift your crust up there and just put your crust on top. Then you can just put your filling in there. And I've got a big heaping tablespoon of coconut cream. You can see it set up really good. Now just take a little bit of water and dab it around the side. Now you don't have to use these molds, but when I found them several years ago, I love them. It just makes, like I said, this process go by so much easier and faster, especially when you're making a bunch of them to take somewhere or to sell or something. And it makes for such a pretty pie. But if you don't have the mold, you can crimp them. You can crimp them just like we always have. Just lay your crust up there. It's about that easy. And we don't waste any of this crust that comes off the extra crust. We make more pies out of it. I'll make another one. My favorite pie, well, the kids' favorite pie is chocolate, of course. And y'all have seen me make those, and apple fried pies. And you see, it's just about that easy. And I love apricot and peach. It makes for just beautiful fried pies. Crimps it up real good. And I forgot to put water around the edge of that one, but you see how good it's sealed, so it works really well. And I have these pie molds in my Amazon store down below in the description box. And if you want to, you can make even smaller fried pies if you want to. So we're just going to continue making the rest of the pies, and then we'll... Okay, we are going to start frying our pies. You want your grease about 350 degrees, and I'm using peanut oil, and I've just got about 1.5 inches grease in there. And you just want to fry these till they're good and golden on each side. Let's just take just a couple of minutes, and then we'll flip them over and fry the other side till it's good and golden brown too. They're good and golden brown on but one side, so we're just going to flip them. If I can get a hold of it here. Just flip them over. Fry the other side till it's good and golden brown too. It's really pretty. It's a beautiful crust. Just take a couple more minutes. I think we got these just about done. We're going to take them out and put 2 more in. I'm just putting them over here on my cookie sheet on a dish towel and letting them drain a little bit. Now there's one thing that I don't do but a lot of other people do, and they make a glaze to put on their fried pies. It's just a little bit too sweet for me and Mr. Brown putting a glaze on them. So, and we love the crust so much that we just like the filling and the crust. But if you want to put a glaze on these, just make you a light glaze with powdered sugar and a little bit of milk, a little bit of vanilla, and that's all you need. Just make it your glaze real loose and just kind of drizzle it or dip your fried pies in it. So we're going to get the rest of these cooked up, and then we're going to break one open so we can see the beautiful filling inside, and then we'll even eat one. How about that? Y'all, I can't begin to tell y'all how beautiful these pies are. That coconut filling in there. And that crust. I mean, I'm telling you, one bite and you're hooked. You're going to say, Mama, for my birthday, I want some coconut fried pies. Y'all, it don't get no better than this. The only thing that might be better, my kids might tell you, oh yeah, chocolate fried pies. But I'm thinking that this is right up there with them. Love it. Y'all have got to try this recipe. The crust is wonderful. If you can get a hold of some lard, it makes the best crust. But if you can't, shortening works just fine. Guys, y'all have a wonderful weekend. Me and Mr. Brown are going to be busy this weekend doing a lot of stuff. But I wanted to come in and I wanted to share this recipe with y'all. Mr. Brown's working on a project right now that I can't wait for y'all to see. And I'm hoping that it's going to work because I'm excited about it. And that'll be hopefully put up next week video on it. He's working hard on it. So y'all have a wonderful weekend. Be safe, be well, and God bless everybody, and we love y'all so much.